The United Nations General Assembly voted on Friday to condemn the military coup occurring in Myanmar and passed a resolution calling for other countries to participate in an arms embargo in response to the coup. The vote passed with 119 members voting yes, 36 countries abstaining from the vote, and one country, Belarus, voting no, the Associated Press reported. The Assembly was hoping to unanimously vote in favor of the resolution, but members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, were torn on the decision, with some voting yes and some abstaining from the vote. There were long negotiations between ASEAN and many Western countries before the resolution was put up to a vote, according to Associated Press. The military coup in Myanmar occurred back in February due to officials claiming without evidence the country's democratic election in 2020 was rigged. Thousands have been jailed and hundreds have been killed during protests of the new military government. The country's deposed leader, and I don't know how to pronounce this person's name, so I'm going to have my computer do it for me. Aung San Suu Kyi and other officials from the party that won the election in 2020 are facing corruption charges under the new government. The military claims it will give up its power and hold new democratic elections in the future, but has not given a timeline for it. Although Myanmar has faced international condemnation since the coup began, a formal rebuke from the UN General Assembly is noteworthy due to how rare it is, the Associated Press noted. So I'm seeing at least one parallel between the United States and Myanmar. And, the US always presents itself as this, grand pillar of democracy. But, we had a similar situation where, without proof, it was claimed that the election, the most recent one that occurred in 2020, the same year, was rigged. And then there was an insurrection, and it basically was a coup attempt at the Capitol. Um, ours wasn't as successful as the one in Myanmar, but it's the same general idea of people get upset about the results of an election, and rather than just wait 4 years to try again, which is what the Democrats did, uh, and even if you thought they didn't, as far as challenging the election results, none of them went up to the Capitol trying to, they didn't react in anywhere near the same violent level as these people did during this, January 6th. But what I think is really interesting is the idea that this is kind of like what you would see if this type of thing had happened, because people who do things like this, where they, claim without proof there was a rigging and then they go and try to start a coup, don't actually believe in democracy. They're just mad when their side doesn't win. Um, and you're seeing that right here, where the military says we're going to give up our power and, hold new elections that are democratic, but then they don't actually tell you when they're going to do that because they like the power. Power is a very addictive thing when it doesn't have, like any rules or person to moderate it in a sense. So I'm glad the UN came out and opposed it. I'm really surprised that they were able to get one country to vote against it. And it's not even just that it was one, but the fact that I thought it would probably be, because a lot of these countries have people in charge that I just think are kind of, what's the way of saying it? Not the biggest in terms of their concern, the biggest fans of democracy. So I was surprised there was only one that said, hey, this is bad. As far as an arms embargo, I initially read that headline, didn't think it would work, but for a military government, that might actually be a little effective, because the military loves its weapons, no matter where it is. It could be the U.S. military, any different military. They love having different tools that are violent, so that could theoretically make a difference. But this is like the alternate universe of if the insurrection from January 6th had been successful. We believe in democracy, and we're eventually going to give up our power and hold new democratic elections in the future. We're just not going to tell you when we're going to do it.